Oke, kita mulai ya.
Mr. Craig, Dr. Craig.
Okay, we are going to start.
We will be starting in 2 minutes.
Okay, so we are going to admit all the participants right now. Aku admit ya.
Oke, udah ready?
Okay, all right. So we'll start right now, Stephanie.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Let's start, Mike.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Students or alumni. Welcome to our seminar today. This is an international webinar about further study. So before we begin, yes, Stephanie?
Yes, welcome to our seminar today, International Webinar, Graduate Study Abroad and Global Career Preparation.
All right, first of all, before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Faisal from Global Employability and Entrepreneurship Alam Sutra, and my partner.
And my name is Stephanie from Alumni Relations from BINUS Senayan.
Okay, and we will be the MC for our seminar today, and welcome once again. So this is a further study seminar, and the purpose of this seminar is to introduce you to your the opportunity that you will have after you are graduating. So maybe you don't want to start your career yet, so you can take further study to pursue your master degree maybe, and then in international environment. So
for the career preparation.
Yeah, and then for the career preparation in the global, maybe global industry, maybe you want to have a career abroad. So this is your chance to ask and to know more about that. Okay. Okay, before we begin, we have some notes for all participants. Okay, maybe Stephanie can.
Sure. Before we begin, we have some notes for all participants. The first one is, if you have questions, please write down in the chat box first, or if you want to talk directly, please raise hand first. And then please, for the participants, don't forget to rename your display name with the format your student ID and then your name. And then for those who watch from YouTube, you may also ask questions from the live chat, and don't forget to fill the attendance form. And then at the end of our session, we will be having a evaluation form that you need to fill in for your SAT point requirement. Okay.
Okay. And okay, so this is the international webinar. It's delivered in English, but don't worry if you want to ask question in Bahasa Indonesia, it's okay. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Just write it in every language that you know, either is Indonesian or English. No other. Okay, so the first one, we will have Ibu Yeni Mukti as GEE manager to have an opening speech for our seminar today. Ibu Yeni Mukti, please.
Yes, good morning everyone. Selamat pagi teman-teman BINUS. Thank you Stephanie dan Faisal untuk menjadi MC, and good morning Dr. Craig, President of University of Applied Research and Development. Thank you for your presence as a speaker in this seminar. We hope the seminar useful and beneficial for our student and alumni. Baiklah teman-teman, acara ini diselenggarakan oleh GEE, Global Employability and Entrepreneurship Center, baik di Alam Sutra, BINUS Internasional Senayan, dan BINUS Kemanggisan. Teman-teman ikutin sampai akhir. Dan jangan lupa teman-teman, acara ini akan terus kita laksanakan ya, minimal mungkin sebulan sekali kita akan adakan, supaya teman-teman punya persiapan karir, tidak hanya karir nasional, tapi karir di dunia internasional. Nah teman-teman, sebelum mulai ini saya ada hadiah untuk 20 peserta ya yang hadir. Kita akan memberikan voucher nih teman-teman ya. Sebentar. Oke, teman-teman, ternyata PPT saya bermasalah. Saya akan ketik di chat buat teman-teman yang akan mendapatkan hadiah voucher Tokopedia. Teman-teman bisa kirim. Bentar ya, ini dia. Share screen. Ya. Oke, teman-teman bisa langsung menuliskan ya. Nah, untuk yang ingin mendapatkan voucher Tokopedia, langsung WhatsApp ke nomor GEC Alam Sutra ya yang terpampang di layar, tuliskan nama Anda dan tempat tinggal. Misalnya Anita Alam Sutra. Ya, kita tunggu hingga acara selesai, nanti kita pilih 20 dan akan kita WhatsApp besoknya siapa yang memenangkan voucher tersebut, teman-teman. Baik, tanpa berlama-lama lagi, waktu saya serahkan kepada Stephanie and Faisal. Sekali lagi, once again, thank you, Dr. Craig, for your presence as a speaker. Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ibu Yeni, for
Thank you, Ibu
the
Yeni.
opening speech.
Okay, so maybe okay, one last announcement. So if you guys having trouble joining to the Zoom meeting, you can watch this seminar from YouTube. The YouTube is okay. Now, the YouTube link is shared by Kaira in the chat box. So you can click those links, and you can also share that links to others of your friends. Maybe cannot join to the Zoom meeting. You can give this link, and we will also check the questions from there too. Okay, so Stephanie, is there anything you want to say, or we can start now?
I guess we can start directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now without further ado, please welcome, we already have Dr. Craig Hansen, PhD, President, University of Applied Research and Development from New Zealand. For Dr. Craig, please.
Welcome, Mr. Craig.
Hi, selamat pagi, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for joining our webinar together. I do want to say thank you very much to Ibu Yeni and the team, and also Faisal and Stephanie for making this happen today. And thank you very much to BINUS University. It's fantastic to be with such a highly rated and highly regarded international university from Indonesia. Just by way of introduction, I lived in Indonesia for 7 years. So my Bahasa Indonesia should be much better than it is. It's not very good at all, but I do want to say I love the country. We would still be living in Indonesia if it wasn't for COVID-19. So my family came back last year. My family came back at the start of last year, and I came back at the end of last year. And I just missed my family, which is why I came back to New Zealand, and that's why we're here now. But otherwise, I'd be still with you, eating nasi pecel in the morning, riding my motorbike, and going to the movies with all of my Indonesian friends. So I really love Indonesia, and it's a privilege to be with you today. Now, because I've traveled a little bit through Indonesia, I'd love it if in the chat, if you're able to, if you could just put the name of the town or the city where you are located, whether that's Depok, whether that's Surabaya, wherever you might be around Indonesia, or if you're international, I'd love you to just write it in the chat so we can see Angela is from Semarang. Hi, Angela. Good to see you here. And Jakarta with Celine. Okay, that's great. So 2 different places across Indonesia. Wonderful that we've got an Indonesian-wide audience. Banda Aceh, Jakarta, oh, look at that, Depok, Lampung, Batam, Bekasi, Dumai. Wonderful. Look at all these people from all around Indonesia. Palembang, fantastic. Bogor, do you know Bogor? Yes, Rio, I know Bogor. I've been to Bogor and to the Botanical Gardens, Bali. Of course, I've been there, South Tangerine. Awesome. Look at all those people from all over Indonesia. Fantastic to have you here. Now, this morning, when I share some things with you, my hope, my desire, and the plan of Ibu Yini as well, is that by the end of this time together, you'd go away with some key ideas about how to prepare yourself for the world of work, the world of study, and also how to represent yourself really well internationally. Venus being an international university, the focus, of course, is to make sure you're ready to conquer Indonesia, but also be prepared to conquer internationally as well. So I do want to make sure that what I present for you, is going to be really useful for you going forward, all right? So I'm going to share some things on my screen and on your screen to help you understand about me and about how you can be successful as well. So I really hope that you've got a notebook. So Andy from Jongol, hope you've got a notebook to make some notes, and everybody else on the call as well. Aras from Lebak, Banten. I really hope you've got a notebook to make some notes as we go through this, but you can always ask questions in the chat. When I've finished sharing with you, and during the time of sharing, I may ask a question, I may ask you to give a number. I'd really love you to do that in the chat. And what Faisal and Stephanie will do is they will make sure that your question is answered at the end of the session. So no one will be missed out. So please make sure you're ready. You can see Faisal, you can see Stephanie, they're all ready, eager, excited, intelligent, good looking, and ready to go to make sure that all of your questions get answered. So Faisal, give me a thumbs up. Stephanie, give me a thumbs up if we're ready to go. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, Ibu Yeni, thumbs up if we're ready to roll. Fantastic, here we go. Alrighty, I'm just going to share my screen as well. And if you can't see my screen, Stephanie or Faisal will jump on board and let me know. Can you see my screen, Stephanie?
Loading.
Still loading. Okay.
Square.
Okay. So what I will do is, because I'm in New Zealand, I tend to speak quite fast. So Faisal and Stephanie have permission to turn on their microphone and let me know, Craig, slow down a little bit, all right? And because the connection may be slow for you, maybe you're watching this on a mobile device, on a handphone, I will take my time as well to make sure that I give you time to see the slides. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you the link so that you can see the slides later on as well. Stephanie and Faisal and the team and Ibu Yeni can share the slides with you so that you have access to them after the session as well. So do make some notes, do ask your questions and comments in the chat, and you will get the slides. So thank you for giving me your time today as we look at preparing for a master's education and also study abroad and being internationally prepared. So as Ibu Yeni presented earlier on and said earlier on, and Faisal did as well, I'm the president of the University of Applied Research and Development. And I am thankful for Venus giving me the opportunity. We are an internationally accredited university. So we're accredited with Texas A&M University System in the United States of America. Also, we're accredited in the United Kingdom with One Awards and NOCN, an awarding body on behalf of the government in the United Kingdom. That means that the qualifications and the accreditations we give to international students are recognized all around the world. And our website is right in the middle here, as you can see on your screen. Just going to turn on my laser pointer as well if I can. And this is our website address here for you. So really, we're going to go through 4 things that will be important to set you up for success. So preparing for your master's study abroad internationally, also emphasizing those 5 key competencies that my PhD research found. So just so you know, my research I focused on the creative industries. So this is very fast moving, very technological industries like 3D animation, movie making, phone design, graphic design, really fast moving, technologically rich industries. So because they were fast moving, graduates from a bachelor's degree or a master's degree needed to have not only the technical skill, but other competencies as well. And I'll show you why they are important. So preparing for master's study, the 5 key competencies, how to make sure you're ready for international studies and reducing any barriers for you. And finally, how to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so powerful for you to make sure you can get an international job, international study, and also getting a job opportunity in Indonesia if that's what you want to do. So section 1 is going to be focused on getting a master's degree overseas. If you've got a master's degree already, this will help you to go on to postgraduate studies such as a PhD. So really the key thing that you can do is to make sure that you access scholarship databases. So there's 4 key databases that I'm going to show you, and they have a list of qualification scholarships. One of them is study portals, the other is FastWeb. Then there is the IIE, and also many Indonesians are focused on Australia. So I don't want to ignore Australia. I want to focus on Australia for you. So in terms of making sure that you can filter scholarships effectively, on the left-hand side here, I've got a list of different filters that you can use on scholarship databases to be successful. Never ever apply for just one scholarship and then wait. You should apply for multiple scholarships, for multiple degrees from the countries that you are focused on going to. Whether that's Australia, whether that's New Zealand, the USA, Canada, the UK, you should apply for multiple scholarships from multiple universities. Why? Because the world is competitive. People from all around the world will be applying for scholarships from these different universities in different countries. So we want to make sure that you use the right filters and you keep on applying. So I'm just going to exit the presentation so that you can see. This is what study portals looks like. This is the website. I'm going to wait here for a few seconds so you can see what it looks like if your bandwidth is slow. So what you can do is you can click on Study Portals Scholarship in the top, and you will go then to a filtering database where you can gain access to different scholarships. Also, as well as the Study Portals Scholarship, you can look at FastWeb. And just so you know what it looks like when you look at this later, this is FastWeb. You can click on the big Find Scholarships button, so it's easy to find. And you can filter based on what sort of studies you want to do, what sort of country you want to focus on, and then also what sort of level of money you want to have. Maybe you only want $500, maybe you want a discount, maybe you want a scholarship, and also you want a living allowance. So you can filter the different scholarships on this website. You need to register, but it's free to use. The next one is IIE. This is a non-profit organization. And when you go to this website, you'll be able to find different scholarships, not only from universities, but you can find scholarships from corporations as well. I'll go in a little bit deeper on each of these databases so you'll understand how to access them really well, and what are the differences between the different scholarship databases. And the final one, of course, was really to focus on study in Australia, because I know many Indonesians by far and away will end up in Australia for international study. So this website here on behalf of the government will show you how to access not only government scholarships, but university scholarships. All right, so I'll show you those a little bit deeper now. So remember the 4 databases you want to look at: study portals, FastWeb, IIE, and then look at the Australian Government Scholarships database. And the filters that you can use are on the left-hand side of my slide. It is slide 5. So if you're making notes, really encourage you to make a note, write down those filters, or at least write down slide 5, so that when you get the link to my slides, you can come back and have a look at the different filters you can use. So, study portals, this is what it's great for. It's great for searching for a country that you're interested in. So if you're interested in Yugoslavia, or you're interested in England, or you're interested in America, it's a great database for searching according to country. It's a very good database for that. Secondly, it's very good for filtering and sorting and searching for a level of a qualification. So it might be that you want to go for a postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma, or a full master's program. You can filter according to the level of the qualification. That'll be important for you. One of the other bonuses, and I wanted to make sure you wrote this down and noted it, is study portals will list whether you can get a scholarship for accommodation and tuition. You don't have to apply for only accommodation or only tuition. You could apply for both. So you only apply once, but you can get a scholarship for both. That's very important for you to know. So you can note that down. Study portals will help you get a scholarship for not only your studies, but for your living allowances of accommodation. So that's a key point, and it's a difference for study portal scholarship. This is what a listing of a scholarship looks like. So this is from a particular university. It tells you who the focus is. It shows you what level of qualification, so master's, bachelor, and PhD. Also, it gives you a discount on accommodation. So maybe you want a full scholarship for accommodation. So you would look for full accommodation. Now, as you look through these awards, and remember, I need you to note down the language of this. An award means scholarship, and an award usually means cash. That's the important thing. Getting a discount is one thing. That's great. Saves your family money, saves you money, means that you don't have to work so hard. Cash is great, but some of these awards are not awards in cash. They are discounts, and they will note them here underneath the award. The final thing to note, and I know that Faisal and Stephanie will be looking at this and helping you with this. Notice it says 1st of October. This is the deadline. This is the important thing, because the United Kingdom has different school years, different semester dates, different enrollment dates than Indonesia does, and also different from Australia, different from the USA, different from New Zealand. So it's very important to make sure you get in your applications on time and apply for more than one. We've got 300 people on the webinar right now. So this is really important information for all of you to know what to look for. This is a discount. It's not cash, okay? Now that's different, study portals, from FastWeb. So FastWeb is the second database that you could look at. This is really great for searching by college. Remember, in the USA, universities are often called colleges. So you can get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a PhD from a college. Usually in Australia, the language of college means a privately owned university level institution. It's not a university, but it's university level. That's usually a college in Australia, or a college in New Zealand, or a college in the UK. But a university and college usually means the same thing in the USA. Important to note in terms of language. So not only can you search according to college, but you can filter according to amount. It's very USA centric. So FastWeb is pretty focused on the USA, and you can filter the scholarships according to amount. Could be $1,000, could be $5,000, could be $25,000. So do use the filtering inside FastWeb. Here's something else that's really brilliant if you're interested in the USA. With FastWeb, you can search for internships. Internships are brilliant because once you start to intern, meaning working voluntary in a company, often that leads to a real job offer. So internships are work experience. You don't usually get paid. So you can search for a college, you can search for a scholarship, you can search for accommodation, and on FastWeb, you can search for internships in companies. Why? You get work experience, you can get connections in the industry you're interested in, you can get a recommendation letter, you could maybe get employment, which might lead to residency or citizenship. So do note, though, the deadlines are very clear on FastWeb. So do look for those as well, because it's USA focused, the USA school year, fall, summer, spring. They are different than Indonesia, different than Australia. All righty. So this is what FastWeb looks like. And notice that on the page, Faisal, I might get you to make sure you're muting people if they come on board and they're unmuted. Thanks, Faisal. Thank you. So everyone, if you can see on my screen, because there's 300 of you, so you get a really good idea of what FastWeb looks like, notice in the middle of the screen, there's the opportunity to get a part-time job. While you are applying for your scholarship, while you are applying for the university, while you are applying for maybe an internship, you could apply through the website for a part-time job while you're studying. Because remember, often when you study in Australia, New Zealand, America, UK, you can get a work visa for part-time work. So now is a good time to look for those jobs, and you simply say, I'm applying for this university. I'm applying for this college. Please consider me, because I will be arriving in the country in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year. So you can apply for those jobs right then and there. It'd be fantastic if you turn up in a university, you've got a scholarship, you've got your accommodation sorted, you've even got an internship in case you might even have a job. So fantastic opportunity for you. Now, the next database is IIE. Really great database, really good way to find scholarships according to discipline. Now, please notice the language there. Discipline means your subject. So your discipline might be marketing. Your discipline might be education. Your discipline might be engineering. Whatever your discipline is, that's the subject you can search for. This is really valuable. Maybe you want to branch out into a different discipline, no problem. But if you've done a bachelor's degree and it's got a focus or a concentration in marketing, and you want to get a postgraduate diploma or a master's degree in marketing, you can filter according to the country and also filter according to your subject or your discipline. Here's the great thing about IIE. They have companies and corporations that give scholarships. This is a little bit different. So you could get a scholarship from IBM. You could get a scholarship from a big company like Apple. You could get a company scholarship from Deloitte. So this is really important for you. If you want to get a scholarship, to get one from a corporation in the industry that you're interested in, that would be pretty cool. So this is what it looks like. And this is one of the scholarships from a corporation. So if you're a marketing major or a design major, Adobe has scholarships as well. Notice that it says program location. So if you're thinking of studying in the UK, this would not be for you. If you're thinking of studying in America, this could definitely be a possibility for you because it's in the Americas. If you're studying or wanting to study in Hawaii, beautiful country, you could even get a scholarship from Adobe to study in the Americas because Hawaii is a state, of course. Now, the final one that I want to draw to your attention is the Australian government. I've shown you what the website looks like. But do note there are 3 opportunities for you. Number 1, while you are in Indonesia, you can apply for a scholarship from the Indonesian government to study in Australia. You can apply for a scholarship from the Australian Embassy while you are in Indonesia, before you even leave home. Secondly, you can apply for a scholarship from the university that's funded by the government of Australia. And also you can apply for a scholarship from the university. So you have 4 opportunities there. that most other people don't have. Because I've been in Indonesia, I know that the Australian government is very active, really looking to recruit high quality students like the graduates from Venus University to go to Australia. So there's 4 different ones. But do notice though, when you're looking at scholarships, notice that there are discounts and there is cash. So if it's important to your family that you actually get the cash scholarship, make sure you filter according to that. If it's okay for your family that you just get a discount and your family's okay to pay the rest, you could filter according to discount. Here's one thing that's really exciting about Australia, and I want to highlight it for you on the right-hand side. Look for the re-ups. If you know what a re-up is, please type a 1 in the chat. If you know what a re-up is, type a 1 in the chat. Stephanie and Faisal, if you could just have a look in the chat. Let's see if anyone knows what a re-up is. If you don't know what a re-up is, give me a 0 in the chat. Hit a 0 in the chat if you don't know what a re-up is. If you don't know, I'll tell you. If you already know, I won't tell you. What's happening, Faisal and Stephanie?
0, 0, 0. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 0. Mostly 0.
Okay.
0.
Lots of zeros. Let me tell you the secret. A re-up is really important. You can look for scholarships that are available in your 2nd and your 3rd year. So you can look for those opportunities where it's not just a scholarship for your 1st year. So look for the re-up opportunities. This means to reapply, a re-up. Okay, you can re-up. So when you filter and when you look for the scholarships and you open up the description, the details, look to see this scholarship can be extended. That's really valuable for you, and the Australian government and through the universities often offers re-ups. Okay, so that should be worth attending this webinar right now. Really, really valuable. This is what it looks like. And I want to point out something for you and just ask the question, and I'm just going to jump out of the presentation. I imagine that all of you, the 300 odd people that are on the seminar right now, on this webinar, you might have different motivations. And I know that Ibu Yeni knows what I'm talking about. Maybe you want to go to Australia, America, Canada, and what you're looking for is the qualification because you want to come back, you want to maximize your opportunity in Indonesia. As the economy grows, the population continues to grow, the economy goes into leaps and bounds into new industries, you want to come back. That's motivation number 1. Indonesia is beautiful, of course you want to come back. But maybe you have another motivation. Maybe you want to go to another country, study there, work there, get residency there. So you open up the opportunity for citizenship. You open up the opportunity to give you, your partner, your wife, your husband, your family, your children even, the opportunity to live in an international country like I did, where we loved Indonesia, to travel backwards and forwards from Indonesia to the country where you graduate from with your graduate studies. Now, your motivation is important. And I'll show you why now. So in Australia and New Zealand and many other countries, you have the opportunity to study at a university or a college that might be owned by the government. And getting a university degree, the certificate with the university logo is really important. That's because you're going to come back to Indonesia and having that university certificate is important. Or maybe your family, your extended family lives in the country, they are part of a really large corporation, and having that university certificate is still important, even if you stay in the country. Or if you're interested in getting the qualification, but then working in the country, taking a work visa opportunity to work in the country, stay in the country and go for citizenship, maybe it's not important to have a university certificate for your graduate studies. But like this school here on the left-hand side in Australia down the bottom, the SP Janes School of Global Management. Great school, it's not a university. Great organization, it's not owned by the government, it's privately owned. Privately funded. So this is a private tertiary organization, offers graduate studies, postgraduate, offers masters, all sorts of really good programs, has scholarships as well for travel, for accommodation, for the studies, really great school, but it's not a university. If your motivation is to get the qualification, then work. Maybe that university logo is not important. So what is your purpose? So when you're looking, don't ignore the non-universities, because they may be a way to get a really great scholarship, start working quickly, and then get your residency and move on to citizenship if that's important to you. If you understand what I'm saying, please give me a 5 in the chat if now you understand about re-ups and you understand about the different types of institutions in different countries, because your motivation is important. So in the chat, give me a 5 if you understand what I'm saying. Stephanie and Faisal, what's happening in the chat? Have we got a 5?
They're giving 5.
Brilliant. Great. Hey, thank you very much, everyone who's responding in the chat. I really do appreciate you doing that. It means you're alive and you're with me. So here's some focus points when you're thinking about your scholarships and planning your study overseas. Number 1, be clear on your target country. You could have 2. You could have the United Kingdom and you could have Australia. You could have the USA and you could have New Zealand, but be focused. Otherwise, you'll get confused. Pick 1 or 2. Number 2, search for more than just the tuition and ensure that it's cash if that's important to you. Number 3, look for internships and work opportunities, and don't ignore corporate funds, corporate scholarships. And number 4, be really clear on your purpose. Does it need to be a university? Hope that makes sense for you. So section 2, just moving on, remember to write your questions in the chat so that Faisal and Stephanie can come back and make sure we answer them. Now, the 5 key things, this is what you want to highlight when you apply to a university. And also, this is what you want to highlight when you're applying to an organization, a company, an employer, particularly if they are a more new company. You want to highlight these competencies. Elon Musk is amazing. He's a great entrepreneur. He said when something's really important enough to you, even if the odds are not in your favor, you will push through and you will do it. I love that. You can be successful. Coming from Indonesia is actually a really great opportunity for you if you have these 5 skills, because employers, according to my PhD research, are looking for 5 particular skills, and the World Economic Forum agrees with me. Now, when you get the slides later on, if you click on this image, it'll take you to the World Economic Forum website. So you can notice in 2015, the focus was really on particular types of skills. You can see in 2020, it's really more about those soft skills, problem solving, being focused on working with others, like emotional intelligence and creativity. These are called the 21st century learning skills. These are the 5 that are really important for you to highlight in your university application, to highlight in your university scholarship application, to highlight in your job application when you're going to a new and innovative employment. Number 1, communication. How have you demonstrated communication when you've worked in a team, communicated to an organization, communicated to a large group, communicated with a team? Number 2, have you worked in a team? That could be voluntary, that could be in school, that could be in work, that could even be in your extended family when you did an internship or work experience. But how have you worked in a team? Number 3, your technical competency. So it doesn't matter what your major is. If you're in marketing, for example, make sure you demonstrate your ability to use Photoshop, the designs that you've done, the packaging, the product design, the working in a team, the communicating, but also the technical skills that you have. And also that you are a self-learner. Nothing is worse in a new organization than having someone that you have to hold the hand of. So if you are a self-learner, if you are proactive, if you are a problem solver, you will stand above everybody else. So how have you done that? Highlight that in your scholarship application. Highlight that in your online social media. Highlight that when you apply to the university. Highlight that in your CV when you go for a job, because this is what companies are looking for now. And finally, are you passionate? Do you really care about the scholarship? Do you really care about traveling to that particular country? Do you really care about that industry? Why do you care? Have you studied it for a long time? Do you have family in it? Are you passionate and you wake up in the middle of the night with ideas about it? How are you passionate? So my PhD focused on Disney, Pixar, Weta, Lucasfilm, Marvel. It was really focused on Apple, Microsoft, Google, fast-paced, creative, high-tech design sectors. This is what they're looking for. And so are companies around the world right now. So really, when you put your documentation together to apply for a scholarship, apply to a university, make sure that you have these 5 key areas ready. I really hope that you've got your notebook and you're making some bullet point notes. Of course, you'll get the slides at the end, but when you write things down, it'll help you to remember. Make sure you've got a CV. It's offline and online, and I'll show you what a really great CV is very soon. Number 2, you've got your personal essay ready. Your personal essay talks about your history and your vision for your future. Number 3, make sure that those 5 skills that I talked about on this previous slide, make sure that you actually have examples written down, little cards and memory things for you, written down about how you are fantastic, how you are awesome at those 5 skills. Number 4, collate all your visa documentation. So if you want to travel overseas to Australia, it's a little bit different from the USA. The process is different. Some of the documentation is the same, but collect it right now. The last thing you want is to be at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to beat the deadline at 9 o'clock the next morning. Start collecting those documentations now. And the final thing is to know about the university, know about the country, know about the region, know about the course. Because if you want to study overseas and you go and visit the embassy and they say to you, why do you want to go and study in Nebraska in the USA? And you go, I really like the Avengers. That doesn't sound good. I really like cowboy hats. That doesn't sound good. So you really want to make sure you're very clear. Why do you like the university? Know something about it. Why do you want to stay in that region? Why are you passionate about marketing or whatever the course is? Because you want to present your best self. The interviewer, the scholarship people, the university people, your employer, they're waiting for you to give the answer to this question. Tell me about a time when. The interviewer is going to ask you that or something like that. Tell me about a time when you had to work in a team. Tell me about a time when you had to communicate to a large audience. Tell me about a time when. You better have your answer ready. So that's why number 5 right now, know the area. Number 3, know the 5 skills. And number 1, make sure you've got a great CV online and offline. This will really help you. Now, international accreditation. Here's the tips to minimizing barriers. There will always be barriers in your way. There will always be a wall you have to climb over. There will always be some hole you have to climb through. There'll always be things in your way. Number 1, start early. Don't procrastinate. Start early. Know the school, know the seasons, know the country, and practice for that visa interview. Number 2, in Jakarta, in Indonesia, there are local scholarships you can get right now to study in Indonesia and to study overseas. Find them. Number 3, know the due dates well in advance and put them on your Google Calendar and make reminders for 1 week out, 1 month out, 3 months out. Give yourself reminders to make sure you apply on time. And number 4, make sure that your online presence, your online portfolio matches and supports your CV, your scholarship application, your job applications, and your university application. Because if an employer, and research tells us that 50% of employers check social media before hiring someone. If your online Instagram is public and there's pictures of you at a party or dressed in casual clothes and the employer can see it, turn it to private. You need to make sure your online platforms represent you really well, because employers will search for it. So here's some ways to clear barriers. For example, use a national service that recognizes qualifications. So in New Zealand, if you wanted to study in New Zealand, and this is just an example, you can send your qualifications to NZQA, the New Zealand Qualifications Authority. They will take your bachelor's degree, they will take your transcript, they will check it all out, they'll match it to a New Zealand degree, and then they will give you recognition. So use a national service if the university you're applying for wishes to see that it has been checked locally. Number 2, you could use an agency. So Storm is an agency in Indonesia and around the world, in Australia, India. And what they do is they help students get into universities. Another example is WES. WES will check your qualifications for North America. So you could use a national service. NZQA is owned by the government. You could use a private organization like Storm or an authority like WES. You could also use a partner university. So my university, the University of Applied Research and Development, what we do is we do the same thing. We can check qualifications, we can check your transcript. We can do that for Venus because we know you're a high quality university and you're a great graduate. We check those qualifications and we give a United Kingdom endorsement with the United Kingdom logo from the government. What that does do is when you apply for a qualification overseas, they can see that this has been checked and accredited overseas. So your bachelor degree from Indonesia, from Venus University, you can also get a bachelor degree recognition letter from the UK or from Texas A&M University, depending on your subject. So we are one of those. Finally, make sure and check, do you need the local entry qualifications? Even though you've done a bachelor degree, maybe you need a GRE, maybe you need an SAT, maybe you need English language, whatever it is, IELTS, TOEFL, check those local entry qualifications and make sure you clear that barrier fast. Section 4. This is the final thing, and I wanted to share this with you because I think it would be really valuable for you because you are Indonesian. And there's one thing I know about Indonesians. When I've walked through a shopping mall, most people look like this. They're walking towards me and they're multitasking because they're messaging someone on WhatsApp and they're walking through the shopping mall with their phone up like this, or they're looking down like this at their phone, or they're in a group and they're walking with their phones and they're talking to each other while they're on their phones. I know you're on your phone. So I want to show you how to make sure your LinkedIn profile is really great, okay? So I'm going to show you mine as a demonstration, and you're welcome to message me on LinkedIn and connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to. But I'm going to show you the different sections that will really position you well. Because if you make your Instagram private and your Facebook private, your LinkedIn will be public, and this will really help you. Because in your CV and your job applications, your scholarship applications, you can put your LinkedIn profile link and they will check. And you want to make sure that you look awesome. This is where we line up your public online presence with your scholarship application, your university application, and anything else that you might do, okay? So let's jump back to the slides. So make sure that your LinkedIn profile has a couple of things. Number 1, have a really professional looking photo. Notice that I'm not in my swimming clothes. Notice I'm not standing there with a drink in my hand. Notice I haven't got a picture of me, my family, and the dog, all right? Or my cat. It's a professional looking photo on LinkedIn, notice also the background header image actually has information about our university. So you can design a header photo at the back graphic image that looks like you, your subject that you're interested in, and the country that you want to go to. This is a major opportunity that most people ignore on LinkedIn. Not just your beautiful photo, but your header image behind you. Notice mine is actually asking questions. You can do the same. Secondly, use all of the sections to emphasize those 5 key skills: teamwork, passion, communication. Make sure you're emphasizing those wonderful things about you in the sections that LinkedIn gives you. And finally, make sure your contact information is up to date. Always check it. Make sure your email, maybe your blog, your portfolio, if you're a design student, make sure your email address, your phone number, your WhatsApp, whatever, is up to date. So here are some sections on my LinkedIn profile. Number 1 is my volunteer experience. Number 2 is the featured section. You can hit the plus button and add things, and I'll show you this live soon. Make sure you've got any honors or awards that you've received. Got them on that section as well. And your education is front and center, right up there. And I made sure as soon as I got my PhD, I made sure it was listed there straight away so that then I could change my title so it said Dr. Craig Hansen on my profile. So fill out all of your experiences. Make sure the featured section is big and bold and has images and has videos, things about what you have contributed to. Just going to jump out of the slides for a second, show you my LinkedIn profile. Here it is here. You can also see how many people has viewed my profile in the last, I think it's 24 or 48 hours, my posts that I've done, and then how many times I've appeared in people's search experiences. So here's my featured section. This is something that I did today. It was a podcast interview with an educator from Korea, an American man, and instantly I put it here on the featured section. So this is what you want to do. Anything you do, add it to the featured section so it's big and upfront and bold. You can edit that by hitting the plus button and just add a link to things around the web. Okay, there's my activity, here's my experiences and everything else. So what you do want to do is make sure that you add a section and keep it relevant straight away. Alrighty, so that's LinkedIn. It is the most powerful platform because you can reach out to and you can search for people from universities, people in industries, and start to build your network straight away. So I use my mobile phone, and I know that every Indonesian is on their mobile phone regularly, and that's a really good thing. So download and install the mobile app. These are some screenshots. So you can see that 2 hours ago, and literally I pasted this 2 hours ago. Here's someone who has replied to a comment I made on her post. So find employers, find university people, find people from around the world in industries that you are interested in. Connect with them, send a connection message. Connect with them, then comment on their posts. Say something positive. Give it a like, give it a love heart. Find people who are saying things that you're interested in. And then when you do, make sure that you comment on that as well. So here is someone who posted something, Terry, that I'm interested in. And I went in, gave it a love heart and made a comment. You can also see invitations from people. This morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, I had a meeting with Jess. She was in a meeting. Now she sent me an invitation to connect on LinkedIn. She's an awesome product designer and she's involved in Tech for Life, and she works in a humanitarian program in the United States. She's someone I want to be connected to. Great person. And notice here on the right-hand side, it recommends possible job opportunities. Notice it's got Jakarta because I used to live in Jakarta. You can, on your phone, swipe through all these different areas and reach out and connect with people. Final thoughts. Make a note of this. This is the link to the slides that I've shared with you today. bit.ly/Venus abroad. So that's the bit.ly link to take you to my slide set so you can get everything that I've shared, get the links that I've shared, get the information that I've shared. What I'm going to do right now is just stop sharing, and I'll also copy and paste that link into the chat so that you can grab that as well. So I'm going to do that right now, just while Faisal and Stephanie and Ibu Yeni get ready, and I can answer any questions that you have. Just going to paste it in the chat right now. So there's the link for you, the bit.ly for the Google Slides. They should be open. I'm going to get Yeni maybe, and maybe Stephanie and maybe Faisal can click the link. If you can't click the link and open it, just type that in the chat, can't open it, and I will check it, make sure it's available. But I did test it earlier today. But do let us know if you can't open it and I'll fix it immediately for you. So Faisal and Stephanie, over to you. Maybe there are some questions and I'm really happy to answer them.
Okay, so I already checked the link and I can open it and I can see the presentation. So it's all good. Okay, so students and alumni, please, if you have questions, you can ask them right now. Just please write it in the chat box. And for you that watching in YouTube, you can also ask questions and we will read it for you and have Dr. Craig answer your questions. So we already have
2 questions already.
Yeah, we have one questions, 2 questions actually. First one is from, where is it? From Sandy. So Dr. Craig, we have questions from Sandy. Sandy, are you alumni or are you still active students? Can you please reply? Okay, so Sandy asked questions. So I want to ask, during this COVID-19 pandemic, is it possible to get a scholarship, internship, or work in an international company? That's the question from Sandy.
Sandy is still an active student.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Okay, so that's a really, really great question. I've been searching through scholarships and grants for our university as well, and for publishing. All of them are still open. So certainly you can apply for internships, you can apply for university acceptance, you can apply for scholarships as well right now. Everything is open. Now, the scholarship providers, the universities, the employers, everyone, they all know that things are subject to visa regulations. They're subject to the COVID rate in the country, but now is a great time to apply. I'm sensing, because you asked the question, maybe you're thinking, maybe we don't have the opportunity, but actually you do. And a lot of people around the world are thinking, oh, I'll wait till COVID's over. That gives you a really great opportunity, because lots of other people are not applying because they think you can't, but you can. So please apply. This is a great opportunity. And actually, many countries have been hurt economically because of COVID. Their university numbers are down. Their opportunity to get international internship people is limited. So you have this wide open opportunity. The world is hungry for Indonesians. So give it a go, don't stop.
Okay, so Sandy, this is your opportunity. Maybe in what semester are you right now? So maybe you can start applying and search from the websites that Dr. Craig shared earlier. Okay, so maybe I want to also ask questions. So do you think if they are still open, are they having a long distance learning, or you can actually go to the country itself to study, Dr. Craig?
So that's a really good question, and many universities have moved their training or their learning or their qualifications online, and many universities have become quite smart. They're allowing students to start their studies while they are still in their home country and do the first semester or the first course while they're still in their home country. And actually, that's a really good question, Faisal, because many universities are giving, in New Zealand, we call them taster courses. So you're actually able to try out the course, the qualification, the learning with that university that you're interested in at no cost. So they're opening up their doors. You just need to contact the university and say, do you have a tryout course or an open course that I can try now while I'm already in my country? That has credit. So a lot of universities are doing that, particularly the United Kingdom and the USA. So great question.
Okay, so this tryout course is only for active students, or like me who already work can also try that course?
Both.
Oh, okay, well, okay. So this is very useful information for me and for students, so we can try out the course from our home country, right? This is very interesting. Okay, the next question, Stephanie, we have from
Leonie.
Leon.
Okay, I will read it. Good morning, Mr. Craig. My name is Leonie, and I would like to ask a question. Do you think that confidence in your own skill contribute in getting accepted for scholarships? Since I've heard that overconfidence is not preferable in applications. Thank you for your time.
Hey, that's a really good question. I think this is a cultural question. So in some cultures, confidence or overconfidence is not appreciated, and maybe it's a negative. For example, in America, people are very confident, very outgoing. You know, they say what they're great at, and there's no problem with that, and people accept it, and people say it. In New Zealand, we don't really talk about all of our achievements and talk about all of our titles and all the things that we're fabulous at, because we're a little bit more quiet as a culture. And in Indonesia, I would imagine, you know, we don't shout how amazing we are and all of our achievements to everybody. We wait for the one-on-one opportunities with our friends where we can share and celebrate success, if I understand the culture correctly after my time there. So in your applications and in your scholarships, here's how you can do it. There is no problem with you saying, I consider my top 5 skills to be these: teamwork, communication, creativity. I'm a lifelong learner and a problem solver. I'm very passionate. You can say, I consider these to be my top skills. Then when you start to describe your experiences, you say, let me tell you about a time when, or when I was in this team, or when I worked here, I did these things. So you describe a real experience. So you're not saying, I'm an amazing graphic designer and no one is as good as me. What you're actually doing is saying, this is a project where I designed this work. Here's the link to my portfolio. I used these types of software and I completed my project on time, and I also supported my team. So if you say things like that, where you talk about a real experience and you give evidence, you're not boasting, you're not being proud, but you're giving evidence of the skills that you've said. That will be okay in America. That'll be okay in New Zealand. It should be okay in Indonesia. It would be okay in any culture because you're describing an experience. That's a really great question.
Oh, that's a very useful insight from Dr. Craig.
And we also have questions from Buyeni. This is about your University of Applied Research and Development, and what actually does it do, and is there any opportunity for all our Rubino students or maybe alumni that join here? Maybe you can introduce us more about your university.
Thank you very much, Ibu Yeni. So what I've done is I've just put in the chat the link to the University of Applied Research and Development. Everyone's really welcome to have a look at that. We've got a range of qualifications, and here's really the 2 things that we do and that we're amazing at. Being confident. These are the things that we're great at, is partnering with industry. So for example, people that are in the military in America, or they work in oil and gas in Southeast Asia, those types of people, or firefighters from the United Kingdom or in South Africa, we provide diplomas, bachelor degree and master's degrees in emergency management. So there are people who are firefighters who have done lots of training, but they haven't got a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. We give them credit We give them academic credit so they can get a bachelor degree or a master's degree much faster, much cheaper, and internationally accredited. That's an example. So we work with different industries. So we've got qualifications in business and leadership and management and education and emergency response, lots of different qualifications. That's number one. So we partner with organizations, we partner with industries to deliver those qualifications all around the world. Secondly, what we do is we help students, graduates, like graduates from Venus University. See, we know that there are really fantastic universities like Venus. And being a graduate from Venus University means you get your university certificate and you get your transcript, and it's accredited in your country. Now, because we know that Venus is a great university, if you submit your university certificate and your transcript to us, we can accredit that in the United Kingdom. So if we have a qualification which is similar, maybe you have a business degree, we've got business degrees, we can give you an accreditation. So as well as you having your Venus graduation certificate, we can also give you a United Kingdom graduation certificate. You may be going, really? Yes, really. So this is what accreditation bodies do around the world. And UARD, because we have our accreditation in the UK, the United Kingdom, and in America, we offer international accreditation services. So on behalf of our university, we can offer a United Kingdom bachelor or master's and one from the USA as well. So for a fee, a small fee, we can actually review your qualification and we can accredit you with an international one. Now, Venus is an international university, really great faculty. We would have no problem doing that. Thank you, Ibu Yeni. Oh, one more thing. We have the wonderful opportunity of actually partnering with some universities. Venus is one of them. And so we get to do a faculty exchange, not only faculty exchange, but share research. And that's something that we're really focused on because as a university in New Zealand and the UK and Australia and in the United States, we're really focused on community development. Not every community has a lot of money. Not every community has really great schools. Not every community has great employment opportunities. So what we like to do is partner with universities like Venus and other ones overseas so that we can help community transformation. So that's a really great opportunity. And we're excited about that, to be able to offer, a faculty exchange, professional development, and work with great universities like Venus to do community transformation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope it helped Ibu Yeni, yeah. Okay, so Stephanie, we have another questions from...
Sure. We have another question from Nadia.
From Nadia.
Good morning, Mrs. Craig. My name is Nadia, and I am currently working. I want to ask between organization experience or working experience, which one is more beneficial for scholarship acceptance? Thank you.
It depends on the scholarship. Maybe the scholarship is a merit-based scholarship. So merit-based really means academic ability. So they're going to be looking at your academic qualifications. They're going to look at your bachelor's degree or your master's degree. They're going to look at your transcript and they want to see really good scores. Supporting that would be your work experience, your community volunteering, you're working in an organization. That would be secondary. The other type or other types of scholarships may be supporting and looking for the right type of person. So the right type of person might be someone who's volunteered or has work experience in a certain area, and they're looking to support financially someone who can enhance their career. Yeah. So it depends on the type of scholarship, whether the working experience, the academic experience, or the experience just being in a corporation will be the most important thing. So read the criteria really carefully, but don't leave out the other. Yeah. So when you apply for one, if it's an academic merit one, make sure you include your personal essay, your work experience, your volunteering, the things that you've done, your awards, your honors. Do all of that as well, because that will support it.
Okay.
So great.
So it all depends on the scholarship itself. Is it the academic oriented or the working experience oriented,
Yes.
right? Okay, so we have another question from Natalie. So good morning, Mr. Craig. Are there any requirements from the FastWeb scholarship that you shared earlier, like a minimum GPA and etc.? Thank you.
Usually.
Okay, so usually there's minimum GPA and the requirements, right?
Yes, usually there are merit-based or academic requirements. Then again, many universities and many scholarships are looking to form. So if you think about the Australian government gives money to Australian universities to help Indonesian and other international students to come to Australia. So the reason is not because they want to have a whole lot of really high GPA people. They're looking to increase the population. They're looking to enhance the workforce. They're looking to increase the number of people who come through the university and contribute to research. So maybe the GPA is not actually the important thing. There are many countries and universities that are looking to increase the mixture, okay? The variety, the diversity. So even if your GPA is low and not as good as you want it to be, make sure everything else is really strong. Your volunteering, your work experience, your social media, your personal essay, make sure all of that is rock star, really, really good, yeah, to support everything else. But having a low score and a low GPA does not exclude you from scholarships. There are many other purposes and motivations for scholarships.
Okay, so don't be afraid if you have a low GPA. Okay, Stephanie, we have questions from Sandy Sena.
Mhm. Will the length of the study period be a negative impact on consideration for international companies if I want to apply for an internship or work in an international company? For example, if I finish college within 7 years, is it still possible to apply, Dr. Craig?
Yeah, there's no limitation. You could just apply and see what the company says. If you're studying for 7 years and you're going for an internship, that's really good, actually. You know, if it was my company, I would be thinking, okay, I'm going to train you as an intern. I'm going to train you in this, and then in this, and then in this, and then in this. And then in 6 months' time, you're gone. And it's not a good use of my time. But if I know that you're doing your degree, then your postgraduate, and then you're doing your master's, or you're doing a medical or health sciences postgraduate qualification, that's going to take you 7 years. I'm thinking, okay, I can train you in this for a month, that for a month, this for a month, and actually I'm going to get a really good return on investment. I'm going to have you for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. You're going to be my automatic hire when you've finished your studies, you know? So it just depends on the organization, depends on the company. From my experience as a Western person, the longer that I get to have someone in the organization, the better.
So do not hesitate to apply for the internship of the working in international company, right?
Remember Elon Musk? He said that things will always be difficult, but just go and do it, because if you try, you will.
All right. So we have another questions from Miss Della. Ibu Della from USA. Hi, Dr. Craig. Apart from the 5 skills card that you mentioned, and also mentioned on WEF, some graduates might wondering how important is GPA matters for their future endeavor for pursuing a master degree or career journey. As we know that, especially in Indonesia, they are most likely measuring only from the grades.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this connects with the previous question, and
Yes,
when you look
I
at the
already,
slides,
yeah, you already answer my question actually, Mr. Craig. So thank you. I already
no
got it.
problem. No problem. I did want to
Thank you so
just
much.
clarify, just for all the students here as well and the graduates, is that if you look on the slides, and I did put the link to the slides in the chat, it mentions some things to get ready your documentation, and this is something that I didn't mention just a second ago, is that if you have your documentation ready, including recommendation letters, including having your CV, including having your LinkedIn ready, that emphasizes all of your other experiences and having the documentation ready. Having good work experience and being able to say, when I did this, and when I volunteered here, and when I worked in a team there, those things are really good and they support you if your GPA is not good. Also, really powerful is having a recommendation. It doesn't have to be very, very long. It can only be 3 or 4 sentences from someone that you have volunteered with or an internship. Just, Stephanie was always at work on time. She participated in a team highly effectively. Her communication was wonderful, and she's highly skillful at this and this and this. Just that one paragraph can really support a lower GPA. So everyone, if you get your documentation right and you do it on time and you do it fully, you can overcome those barriers. You can get through those barriers that are in the way, which is why I wrote it on the slides, getting through the barriers. There'll always be things in your way, but as long as you are prepared, you can overcome them.
Okay. And we have questions again from Leonie. So,
Good morning, Dr. Craig. I would like to ask another question, if that's all right. Of course, it's all right. Does the mastery of multiple languages a very important factor on getting internships or scholarships abroad, like having a high TOEFL or IELTS, or able to master many languages, since communication is a key aspect in everyday life? Thank you again.
Getting the IELTS or getting the TOEFL score, getting the English language score is actually really important. Having that strong will be important for any international university that does their studies in English. And so you have the benefit of being with BENIS. It's an international university. So, many of your classes, I would imagine, were in English. And so you'll be well versed in reading and writing and speaking in English. But getting those IELTS or TOEFL, the Pearson test, which you can do as well online, they're actually really valuable to have. And it depends on which country and which type of scholarship or course you're going for. So if you're studying in Italy, you can study for free and do a master's degree for free in Italy. It's fantastic. You just have to know how to speak Italian. So the language is really important. Yeah. So it depends where you're intending to go. And that's a really good question about the value of multiple languages. So the more languages you have, it adds to that support when you go for your scholarships and your applications. So being able to say, I speak Indonesian, I speak Chinese, I speak English, I speak something else, that's really, really valuable to have. If you don't have that, if you only have Indonesian and English, you don't have the other languages, then the other parts of your application need to be strong. If you have more than 2 languages, wow, that's awesome. Make sure you highlight that and make sure you give evidence of times when you've used them as well. So good question.
Okay, thank you, Leonie, for your questions. I hope it's already answered. So, Mr. Craig, Dr. Craig, we don't have questions right now, but I want to ask questions. So, in the personal essay, do you have any tips on how to write it down? Like maybe what things that you should write or that you should emphasize in that essay, because a lot of times many scholarships institution ask us to give essay and why we want to study in their university or their course. Do you have any tips on what things we have to emphasize?
Yeah. And so that was on the slide about documentation, about that personal essay. And that's really, really important. It's really important that, number one, you always tailor, customize, change your personal essay so that in your very first paragraph, you emphasize why you are a deserving candidate. That's number one. Why are you a deserving candidate? And you can come up with the reasons why. I won't tell you why, but you can come up with those. So why you are a deserving candidate. So you don't say, I deserve this scholarship because of this. You don't say it like that. You say, I believe that I will bring to the scholarship these experiences and these skills, and this is part of my vision for my life and my family, and this is why I'm applying for this scholarship. So you say why you deserve it. Then you move into your vision. Then you move into your personal experiences that demonstrate those 5 competencies, and you make sure that on the scholarship application, where it gives you all the requirements, you're saying something about each of those requirements. Maybe you have to be from an international country. Make it clear you're from Indonesia. If the scholarship is for a woman, make sure you say that you were involved in a women's club. Yeah. If it notes specific things and requirements, emphasize it in your personal essay. Because some names, Craig is a male name. Faisal, I've got a good friend whose name is Faisal from Jakarta. I know it's a male name. If I didn't live in Indonesia, I'd have no idea. So this is why your personal essay needs to link you to the requirements of the scholarship. Yeah. Finally, at the very, very end of your personal essay, I would say you link back again to why you are deserving of the scholarship. So you always close with a reinforcement for what you started with. So you're strong in their mind. Remember I said about having examples when I was working in a team doing this, when I communicated to a large audience doing that. Make sure you include some of those examples in your personal essay as well, so it supports why you are deserving the scholarship.
Thank you. It's very insightful for us too. Okay, we have another questions right now from Azel. Okay, my name, hello, Mr. Craig. My name is Azul Rehan Aristo. In terms of English test, which type of English test would be used more in international scholarship? Is it IELTS or is it TOEFL?
Depends on the country. So TOEFL is more American, IELTS is Australia, the UK, and New Zealand. So it depends on the country. Make sure you check. One of the English language tests which is gaining momentum is Pearson. Pearson. So I might just write that in the chat for you. Pearson. So Pearson has an online English language test. You can do it online. It marks it automatically. It uses artificial intelligence. You can buy a practice test online, voucher, and do it online. And then you can do the real test online. So Pearson is gaining momentum in the United Kingdom. In Australia, I believe it's acceptable for immigration. So if you want to go to university or apply for a work visa or living visa, Pearson is acceptable as well as IELTS. So New Zealand, Australia, Commonwealth, the UK, America, many universities are starting to use Pearson. And because of COVID and because of the cost of IELTS, you can do the Pearson one online from your own home. So I would recommend that you look and see what does the university want from which country and prepare for that test. But also look, will Pearson be acceptable? Because it's online, it's easy to do.
Okay, so you have to check again in the description or the requirement of the scholarship, whether they accept IELTS or TOEFL or even Pearson's. Okay, we have 7 minutes, but before we close this seminar, maybe we can share again the evaluation form. Maybe Kak Ira or Kak Ayu will share the evaluation form. Okay. Okay, we have a question again from Sandy. Okay, this is the evaluation form. You can fill it in, and while we wait, we are going to answer questions from Sandy again. Hello, Dr. Craig. To apply for an internship or work in an international company, do you know what is a good GPA score so that it can be accepted at an international company?
Depends on the company. Again, depends on the company and the environment. If you're getting a D and a D minus, then you would not want to apply to a company or an organization that is looking for high-flying people. Yeah. So if you're a graduate and you have an A minus, an A plus, that's really good. You could apply anywhere. But if your GPA is really low and you're looking at a C, C plus, C minus, you will want to look for an organization or a company who doesn't so much want to have someone who is the top merit-based scholar. Look for a company that offers an internship for international experience. And usually companies that offer internships for international experience are not looking for a high GPA. They're looking for someone with a strong personality, someone who can work in a team, someone who's got good communication, someone who can get to work on time. Those 5 key competencies. So look and see what's the criteria that they're looking for in their internship. Many and most internships don't look for a GPA at all. They're looking for your personality, your work ethic, and your experiences. The other thing, honestly, that can help you is having an international accreditation. So what I talked about before about having a national organization or an agency or even us doing a review and an international accreditation of your degree, that can really help with you getting an internship because it adds to your international flavor, adds to your international credibility.
All right. So, Stephanie, I think we have one more question.
One more questions from Leonie. Good morning, Dr. Craig. I would like to ask if we are aiming for a scholarship or internship, is it very important that we should aim for a specific region to help focus our goals?
Yes.
So we should have a specific region or specific country to help our focus.
Yes.
Okay.
Most scholarships, they are for education, or they're for marketing, or they're for business, or they're for engineering. They're for a particular discipline or a particular subject. So you will want to target a scholarship. Why? Because when you've finished your studies and you have had that scholarship, often the scholarship organization can really help you because you're a graduate of not only the university, but you're a graduate of that scholarship. So when you get a scholarship, you should put that on LinkedIn. You should put that in your CV. You should put it in your job application when you graduate because it's difficult or challenging, or it takes a process to get a scholarship. It's like an award. It's like an honor to get a scholarship. I've had scholarships before and I talk about them because it makes me stand up higher. So you will want to get a scholarship in your discipline, in your area, and get it for the region that aligns with your goals.
Thank you, Dr. Craig.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions, and we already it's almost 11 o'clock, and it is for us to close this seminar. So, Stephanie,
Yes, Faisal.
I think we can, before we close this seminar, we can take a photo
Take
first,
photo
maybe
together. Okay,
together.
please
So
open up your
open up your
camera.
camera. We can take a photo together. We want to see all the face.
Putting all my hair out of the way.
Okay, so the photo session will be guided by Kaira.
Okay, which one? Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Okay, that's enough.
Okay,
Thank you, Kaira.
thank you, Kaira. Okay, once again, Dr. Craig,
Thank you so much,
thank you
Dr.
so
Craig,
much
for your time, for your insight, for all of us. I learned a lot today, Fai. How about you?
Yes, I also learned a lot, and I also just knew about the tryout course. So maybe I want to search it more about tryout course after this one. So maybe I can try, because I have a dream to also study my
Study
master
abroad,
degree.
yeah.
Yeah, study abroad,
Okay.
maybe someday. Okay, once again,
Yeah.
thank you, Dr. Craig, for having joining us today for your seminar. Maybe I hope we can have another session later, maybe.
Sama-sama.
So, and thank you so much for all the participants today. Please don't forget to fill in your evaluation form that already been shared in the chat box. And
Thank you for joining with us, for all the participants, and thank you for all the committees today.
And don't forget to follow our Instagram, Binus Internship, or GEC Binus Alsut, for our next event or seminar, because we have we have another seminar that will be held next week. Thank you, and see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Dr.
Craig.
Craig.
Thank you. Sama-sama.